iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. A little baseball news, and then we'll get to the New York Yankees podcast preview. Eugenio Suarez, the Reds signed him to a 7-year, $66 million extension. Now, why do I bring this up? I bring this up because Nick Senzel is their top young player, top young prospect, better than Jesse Winker. And right now, if you're committing to Suarez a third, Senzel's going to have to play shortstop. So maybe that means they're pleased with Senzel at shortstop. I don't know. I think Senzel goes to the minor leagues and works on his game a little bit, and then maybe comes up in about May and using him at the shortstop. But Suarez will be the Reds' third baseman, getting a whole lot of money. So, look, he's a good player. I don't know if he's a great player, but he's good. And, good for him. Jared Eichhoff going to start the season on a DL, so he will be out for about 6 to 8 weeks. Vincent Velasquez, I think, is going to be part of this rotation. Arrieta, Nola, Velasquez, and then you got a bunch of Nick Pivetta, Mark Leiter Jr., blah, blah, blah. I'm not really thrilled with that. Zach Greinke, they said, is out for opening day. I am not thrilled with him this year. I'm not taking him this year. Other people may disagree. I'm just not going to be on the Zach Greinke train. Maybe he's good, but I'm not going to look at any part of him this year. Jarrell Cotton has a strained UCL. The surgery is a possibility. It's sad, but it's true. But I would think that there's a very good chance that he will go under the knife there. Let's see. Michael Conforto expecting to play in a minor league game soon. He'll probably play in spring toward the end of spring training, but I think he's going to go down. And I would say about May 1st seems about right for him. Miguel Sano hurt his knee, but don't worry about him. He's going to play for opening day. That's the key for him. But there is an accusation about a sexual assault with him, so there is a possible suspension. If you have Sano, you gotta take a look, right? You gotta take a look and just make sure that he's going to be there opening day. So I would watch that closely, or I have Sano in the league, but you need to have a backup plan. God forbid something happens, you need to have a backup plan. Speaking of backup plan, Mark Trumbo, grade 2 strain of the quad, out for about a month. So I think this has to drop him way down on boards here. I think this gives an opportunity, maybe Pedro Alvarez, he's still there. Colby Rasmus against a righty. Let's just see what happens. I think their team is still Davis and Scope and Beckham and Machado, Mancini, Adam Jones. And then the question is Austin Hayes, Colby Rasmus, Pedro Alvarez. So watch for Alvarez maybe to get a few more at-bats. All right, time now to get to the New York Yankee podcast preview. I always say, look, I grew up a Yankee fan. Then as I got older, I started to like National League Baseball more. I find it more interesting. But I still think at the end of the day, I enjoy the Yankees. I enjoy watching them play. They're a very good team. And it's how I grew up. I grew up listening to Phil Rizzuto and Bill White and all these guys. And then Bernie Williams and Paul O'Neill and Tino Martinez and Chucky Knobloch and, such great players for the New York Yankees. So let's take a look at the New York Yankees. The catcher is Gary Sanchez. I am all in on Gary Sanchez this year. All in. And I'm going to tell you why. Let's look at some rankings here. We'll take a look at some rankings by position at catcher. Gary Sanchez is the only catcher that I know that can hit 30 home runs. Buster Posey won't. Wilson Contreras, probably not. Sal Perez, probably not. He could be hitting 35 home runs, which could be 15 home runs more than the next guy. Maybe Mike Zunino, but Mike Zunino could also hit 230. But Mike Zunino's got power, but Gary Sanchez is going to hit 280. Gary Sanchez is going to hit 90 RBIs. Tell me the other catcher is going to do that. Gary Sanchez is going to hit the middle of the Yankees order and score about 80 runs. Tell me the other catcher is going to do that. He is that much better than anybody else at the position. And we talk about position scarcity. Catcher is a scarce position. It really is. Now, I'll go through a list with you here of guys that I don't hate. Sanchez, Posey, Contreras, Perez, Real Muto. I don't love Yad Molina. He's okay. Gaddis I like. Ramos, McCann, Castillo, Lucroy, Hedges, Russell Martin, Zunino, Barnes, and then it just kind of it gets really ugly really quickly. So maybe there's 15 or 16 guys. Do I want Tyler Flowers and Kurt Suzuki and Travis d'Arnaud and Yan Gomes? I really don't. So I'm all in on Sanchez. And look, if I lose this year, so be it. But Sanchez, to me, is like having Rob Gronkowski. You're having the best player at a tough position, and it's a difference maker. So I'll tell you, you ever win a lot of money in NFL DFS? You know how you do it? With a good tight end sometimes. I win a lot of money on FanDuel with a good tight end, a good kicker, and a good defense. Right? When I won my most money, I had the best kicker and the best defense and the best tight end. Just throwing it out there. I love Sanchez. Greg Bird. I don't think he's a great hitter. I really don't think Greg Bird is a great hitter. But he's going to be in a great spot in the order. He's going to hit right in the middle of the Yankees order because he's a left-handed hitter. Sanchez is a right-handed hitter. Judge is right. Stanton is right. So they're going to have to put Bird in the middle of the Yankees lineup because Brett Gardner is going to hit leadoff and Didi Gregorius is not batting in the middle of the lineup. So Greg Bird is going to have to be in that middle lineup, and he's going to get a lot of RBI opportunities. So this guy should get 90 RBIs. Even if he's not a great player, he still should go 20-90. So you have to treat him that way, and I think you should. The Yankees are just so clever. They go pick up Neil Walker. Neil Walker is a really good hitter, and he's going to fit nicely for the Yankees this year. He's 32. They signed him to a one-year deal. I think he's exactly what the Yankees need. And at third base, the Yankees picked up Brandon Drury in a great trade. Brandon Drury can play second. He can play third. I like him. I do. I like him. I think he's only eligible at second, but I think he can play other positions. I think he's going to play third this year. So not only do you get him from second last year, he qualifies at third this year because that's where the Yankees are going to use him. And now he's even more helpful to your team. So I can absolutely see myself getting Brandon Drury for $1 or $2 and hope that he hits 20 home runs in this lineup. I think I could hit 20 home runs in this lineup. Didi Gregorius, I really like Didi Gregorius. And I want to give a shout out to Gene McCaffrey from Wise Guy Baseball. Years ago in his magazine, he said he liked Didi Gregorius, and everybody's like, he stinks, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? Gene was right. The player was good. It was hard to follow Jeter, but Didi Gregorius, 20 home runs in 2016, 25 in 2017. It's a pretty good little hitter here. I like him. Now, the outfield just has, beasts. We'll get to the two big beasts soon. I like Brett Gardner. I always have. He's getting a little older, but he should not lead off. He still has speed. He has a little power. He's a good table setter. I like Aaron Hicks a ton. This guy is a great defensive center fielder. He's got power. He's got speed. I watched him in spring training. He went yard. He looked strong. Look, anybody can hit a home run in spring training, but I just liked how he looked at the plate. I liked the way he did that at bat. It's a really good at bat. So I think Hicks is a very sneaky player. If Hicks was on Kansas City, you'd be talking about him as their best player. But on the Yankees, there's so many other good guys. It's Hicks. No, he's a really good player. He's a really good player. All right, then we have the two big boppers, Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge. So I would think this is a problem because the Yankees may bat Stanton at cleanup. I would rather move Judge to cleanup and Stanton second because Stanton was so successful last year. I don't want to mess with his success. If there was a reason he liked batting second last year for the Marlins, well, maybe he's comfortable there. I think Aaron Boone has to be open-minded to that, and I want to watch that very closely. I know that Judge might want to bat second, and maybe Boone sees that maybe the better on-base percentage, what have you. But I think if Stanton wants to bat second, he gets the shot. Okay, that's my opinion. I want to keep him comfortable. Aaron Judge, a lot of people who are knocking Aaron Judge. Oh, a lot of strikeouts. Maybe he's not going to hit 50 home runs. I get that. And I'm willing to agree with everything that you would say. But let me say this. This guy's a freaking monster. He is 6'7", 260? 250? He's chiseled. Are you telling me that there won't be 40 mistake pitches this year that this guy goes yard with? Seriously. So he hits 250. Big whoop. So he hits 40 home runs and 100 RBIs. That's not going to be good? Seriously? You wouldn't put that in your lineup? I think you would. Now, maybe he's not a second-round player. Maybe he's a third-round player who goes second. But also, if I told you that Aaron Judge hit 60 home runs, would you be shocked? You wouldn't be, would you? So let's not go crazy. Maybe he's not as good as he was last year, but he's still pretty darn good. All right, speaking of good, the Yankees have a really good bullpen. Aroldis Chapman, solid closer. Dylan Betances needs to get his confidence back. David Robertson. Could you imagine David Robertson's like the second or third guy in your bullpen? I mean, how good is he? If Chapman went out, Robertson could close tomorrow. Tommy Conley is another guy in the bullpen. Chad Green is a guy that can go to the rotation and the bullpen. I like him a little bit too. And the starting staff, Luis Severino. This guy was the definition of post-hype sleeper. He looked great last year. I was in on him. I want to give a lot of credit to the fan addict who was very in on him. And Luis Severino was absolutely unhittable for the better part of the year. Sonny Gray, the Yankees, look, when the Yankees bring a guy over, one of two things happens. He either fails in New York or he succeeds in New York. And I think Sonny Gray can succeed in New York. He's a very confident pitcher. And all he's got to do is stop giving up the home runs. And I think we could be onto something here. I like Sonny Gray as an SP4 who might give you SP2 upside. Masahiro Tanaka-san, nothing bad about this guy. His ERA was a little bit high, but I think that goes down. The strikeouts are still there. He doesn't walk many guys. He's going to win 13, 14 games in this lineup. I mean, that's what the Yankees do. I'm not a big fan of CC Sabathia. I mean, I think he's just getting older, but he still produces. I can't knock that. Here's my feelings about a guy like CC Sabathia. Probably going to throw 150 innings. What if this is the year that he slows down? It's like, I don't want to be holding the bag when that day happens. I don't want to be the guy stuck with CC Sabathia when that day happens. So I'm not in on him. I could see him being hurt this year. The guy's getting 37, 38 years old. Maybe Chad Green goes in that rotation. I really like Jordan Montgomery, though, as a fourth starter. I think this guy's a good, young starter. I'm a fan, okay? I'm a fan of this kid. And I think that he gets a lot of strikeouts. He lets up too many home runs. We have to work on that. But once again, every starter for the Yankees is capable of getting 12 to 15 wins because the Yankees are going to win close to 100 games. I mean, this lineup is amazing. So as long as Yankee pitchers can keep their ERA below 4, they're going to win a lot of games, they're going to get strikeouts, and they're going to be decent pitchers. So there's nothing not to like with New York Yankees starters. I don't think any of them can kill you. And in fact, I think a few of them can help you. I think Montgomery's sneaky late. I think Sonny Gray's very sneaky. I do. And I think Chad Green, like I said, could be very much like a Chris Davinsky, a guy who just piles up 3-4 innings at a time and gets some strikeouts and maybe vultures some wins. Nothing wrong with that either. You know what else there's nothing wrong with? What we do at Scout Fantasy Sports. We provide the best information that you need to win your fantasy baseball leagues. Sean Childs, Adam Ronis, myself. Go find a better threesome anywhere in fantasy baseball. I don't think you can. Not with the success that we've had. Ronis winning Tout Wars, Sean, an FBC Hall of Famer, me winning industry leagues and doing this for so long, winning so many home leagues. I mean, guys, 3 of the top players right here helping you, scoutfantasysports.com. All right, I need you to pay close attention this weekend. It's Tout Wars. Go watch those drafts. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to Tout this year. My friend is drafting for me. There was a little complication with my plane ticket, but I'll be on the phone with him, texting him, talking to him, hoping that he drafts me a good team, praying that he doesn't screw this up, but I don't think he will because he knows a lot about baseball. So I'm very excited. I'm cautiously optimistic that my team in Tout will be good enough to compete this year. All right, guys, this is Dr. Roto saying have a great weekend, be well, and take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!